Hello, folks. I am Alan for today's news. I will be reading and speaking about world news, interesting news, news to keep you entertained, and news to keep you informed. First one I got for you here is from this television station out of New York, WIVT Birmingham. That you don't want to fall for this. BBB warns the smart TV scam. Let's see what it says there.
East Providence, Rhode Island, WPRI. If you have a smart TV, listen up. The Better Business Bureau, BBB, is warning of a scam involving popular streaming devices, such as Roku and Amazon Fire TV sticks, and services like Netflix and YouTube TV. The BBB said it has received an influx of reports regarding scammers targeting victims through pop-ups on their smart TVs. Yes, the IRS wants you to report stolen items unless you return them. Scammers can actually target victims through their devices via the internet, BBB's Paula Fleming explained. Obviously, smart TVs are no exception. Here's how the scam works. The scammer typically prevents the user from logging into their streaming service through a pop-up, which states there is a problem with either the streaming device or subscription. In order to rectify the supposed issue, the pop-up provides the user with a phone number to call or a website to visit. Users who call the number are quickly connected with a scammer posing as a customer service representative. The representative explains that, in order to regain access to the streaming service or device, the user must pay an activation fee or grant the scammer remote control of their smart TV. The scammers can also gain access to smart TVs when users click on the links provided in the pop-ups. Once in control, scammers can install malware on the device and collect sensitive personal information. The BBB said in one instance, scammers convinced a user to pay them in gift cards to add anti-hacking protection to their account. You don't want to fall for this, Fleming said. It's very easy to want to get your device working, and that instant satisfaction of thinking it is going to be resolved leaves you a perfect target for these scam artists. Here's how to avoid smart TV scams. Double-check any fees before you pay any fee, including activation and antivirus protection fee. The BBB recommends doing some research first. Watch for fake websites. Scammers are known for creating realistic-looking websites, but, on a closer look, you'll likely notice the URL is a letter or two off. Before clicking any link, including any that appears on your smart TV, double-check the URL. It's best to avoid clicking any link in a pop-up and instead type the URL into a phone or computer. Check before you call. The BBB recommends comparing any customer service phone number with the streaming services or smart TV's website before you make the call. Don't give anyone remote control of your device. Scammers often ask for remote computer access. They can do the same to access your smart TV. If you don't know to who you're giving access, the BBB encourages not giving access. Anyone who believes they've fallen victim to a suspected scam is urged to report it using the BBB scam tracker. Some Android users should turn off Wi-Fi calling due to security concerns, Google team warns. Many streaming companies also offer instructions on how to avoid scammers and what to do if you do fall victim to a scam. For example, Netflix asks that you forward any scam emails to them after you change your account password and contact your financial institution if you shared payment info.
And that's it for that article. I hope it helped give you enough information on it. I know somebody that fell for that. And let's go to the next one here. This is from Fox News. China on disturbing path to eclipse U.S. military by mid-century, Milley warns.
China is on a disturbing path to become militarily superior to the United States by mid-century, Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman General Mark Milley testified Wednesday, while warning that the United States probably would not be able to stop, slow down, disrupt, interdict or destroy China's nuclear development program. Milley testified Wednesday before the House Armed Services Committee alongside Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin in a hearing dedicated to the fiscal year 2024 budget request for the Department of Defense. During the hearing, Milley stressed that the United States needs to outpace China's development, specifically their military might. They have a national goal to be the global, co-equal with the United States and superior militarily by mid-century, Milley said. They're on that path to do that, and that's really disturbing. That's really bothersome. Milley added, we're going to have to not only keep pace, but we have to outpace that, and that will assure the peace. The U.S. intelligence community assessed this month that Beijing is accelerating the development of key capabilities that the People's Liberation Army, PLA, needs to confront the United States in a large-scale, sustained conflict. The PLA's efforts are designed to deter U.S. intervention in a future cross-strait crisis, officials said. On Wednesday, Milley also warned of China's nuclear development program, which the intelligence community highlighted in its annual threat assessment earlier this month. We are probably not going to be able to do anything to stop, slow down, disrupt, interdict or destroy the Chinese nuclear development program that they have projected out over the next 10 to 20 years, Milley explained. They're going to do that in accordance with their own plan.
And you can read the rest of this in my description box if you like. There's more to read. And my next one will be from the Journalism Post. Iran claims decisive response to U.S. forces in Syria.
Iranian Foreign Minister Hossein Amirabdollahian claimed Iran acted in a decisive and clear way against the U.S. in Syria after recent tensions grew between U.S. forces and pro-Iranian militias in eastern Syria in March. The Iranian diplomat arrived in Moscow late Tuesday for meetings with Russian counterparts. According to Iranian reports, he said regarding the events and conflicts that occurred in the east of the Euphrates, our answer to the American side was decisive and clear. The Iranian top diplomat met Russia's Sergei Lavrov on Wednesday. They held discussions about the Caucasus where tensions between Azerbaijan and Armenia have grown. Iran is considered to be concerned about Baku's actions. Iran's top diplomat also discussed the new ties that Iran is forming with Saudi Arabia and how Iran now wants good relations with countries in the region. The return of normal relations between Iran and Saudi Arabia is considered an important step, the Iranian said. Of more importance were the Iranian comments about Syria. The diplomat said that the U.S. has made baseless claims in Syria regarding Iran's role in targeting U.S. bases. Iran operates in Syria and backs militias there. In the last 2 years, pro-Iran groups have carried out 80 attacks on U.S. forces.
You can read the rest of this in my description box if you like. We got a lot of stuff here going on. The next one will be from Newsweek. Israel draws red line with Biden. Nobody likes Biden. Let's see what it says.
Top voices in the Israeli government are criticizing President Joe Biden after he waded into an ongoing debate over a series of proposed reforms to the country's court system that opponents fear could reduce the independence of the country's judiciary, whom right-wing supporters of conservative President Benjamin Netanyahu have long accused of obstructing their favored policy proposals. Speaking at an event in North Carolina this week, Biden offered his most forceful comments to date opposing the reforms, saying the proposed reforms could potentially harm the country's relationship with the U.S. if a compromise was not found. Like many strong supporters of Israel, I'm very concerned, and I'm concerned that they get this straight. They cannot continue down this road, Biden told reporters Tuesday, adding that he did not anticipate inviting Netanyahu to the White House in the near term. Long seen as a bulwark for human rights protections in Israel, the country's Supreme Court has in recent years become a target of right-wing politicians for decisions that obstructed additional settlements in the contested West Bank region of neighboring Palestine, alongside a series of rulings opponents perceived to infringe on the autonomy of religiously conservative communities throughout the country.
And you can read the rest of this in my description box. There's more to read. And my next one is going to be from LA Times. Russia stops sharing info on missile tests with U.S. begins nuclear weapons drill.
A senior Russian diplomat said Wednesday that Moscow would no longer inform the U.S. about its missile tests, an announcement that came as the Russian military deployed mobile launchers in Siberia in a show of the country's massive nuclear capability amid the fighting in Ukraine. Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov said in remarks carried by Russian news agencies that Moscow has halted all information exchanges with Washington after previously suspending its participation. Along with the data about the current state of the country's nuclear forces, the parties also have exchanged advance warnings about test launches. Such notices have been an essential element of strategic stability for decades, allowing Russia and the U.S. to correctly interpret each other's moves and make sure that neither country mistakes a test launch for a missile attack. The termination of missile test warnings appears to mark yet another attempt by Moscow to discourage the West from ramping up its support for Ukraine by pointing out Russia's massive nuclear arsenals. It comes days after Russian President Vladimir Putin announced the deployment of tactical nuclear weapons to Moscow's ally Belarus. Last month, Putin suspended the New START treaty, saying that Russia couldn't accept U.S. inspections of its nuclear sites under the agreement at a time when Washington and its NATO allies have openly declared Russia's defeat in Ukraine as their goal.
And you can read the rest of this in my description box if you like. My next one is going to be from the Associated Press. Judge orders U.S. to resume oil lease sales in North Dakota.
Bismarck, North Dakota, AP. A federal judge has ordered the U.S. government to resume regular oil and gas lease sales on federal lands in North Dakota, even as a legal battle continues over the Biden administration's suspension of the leasing program 2 years ago in an effort to combat climate change. Hailing the ruling as a victory, North Dakota Attorney General Drew Wrigley said canceled lease sales have cost North Dakota over $100 million in revenue each year and deprived the nation of much-needed access to oil and gas during these difficult times of high inflation and threats to our energy security, the Bismarck Tribune reported. But the judge also denied the state's request to force the Bureau of Land Management, a federal agency, to hold sales that were canceled in 2021 and 2022. North Dakota has a substantial likelihood of prevailing on the merits and has met the other factors favoring a preliminary injunction, U.S. District Judge Daniel Traynor wrote in his 82-page order filed Monday. Given this preliminary stage of litigation and the incomplete administrative record, however, not all of North Dakota's requested relief is appropriate. Last year's federal climate law included a political compromise among Democrats that was meant to ensure oil and gas lease sales by linking them to the renewable energy development that Biden has promoted. Citing that law, federal officials have proposed a June lease sale totaling 21,000 acres, 8,498 hectares, in North Dakota and Montana. But how often future lease sales will be held remains a point of contention.
Okay, now you can read the rest of this in my description box if you like. Going on to the next one. Next one would be from News. That's KNEWZ. Say a hole in the sun could wipe out the Earth's power after unleashing 1.8 million miles per hour winds.
A planet-sized hole has ripped through the surface of the sun, letting out intense 1.8 million miles per hour winds which could threaten our entire planet by the end of the week. If the winds make impact with our planet, the Earth's magnetic field, satellites, and most technologies would cease to work, leading to a potential worldwide power cut. The gaping hole, which stretches 20 times the size of the Earth, is the second to appear in a week and has sent solar winds hurling towards our planet within the next 24 hours. The first hole appeared March 23 and triggered stunning auroras lighting up the night sky. In Arizona, people reported seeing electric purples and greens, leading some to think it was a sign of alien life. ET had nothing to do with the colorful night sky. Instead, the lights were caused by a solar G3 storm which was powerful enough to affect a number of spacecraft operations and electrical systems.
And there's a little more to read here if you like to read about that. The link will be in my description box. And see, we got here from /gear. New Restrict Act could mean 20 years in prison for using a VPN to access banned apps. Like, if they don't allow you to use TikTok in this country, then you can use a VPN, put yourself in another country. I use VPNs all the time. And they can say you get 20 years in prison for that. Let's see what it says.
TikTok has been in the news several times, often because of cybersecurity and spying concerns raised by the U.S. government. In 2022, the app was banned from use on any U.S. government device, and several states followed suit, restricting the use of the app on state-issued devices and state networks. ND spying risks, but the focus has shifted from government apparatus. A lot of the official talk around the Chinese social media app since then has continued to be about cybersecurity and spying risks, but the focus has shifted from government apparatus to private citizens instead, with Senator Marco Rubio attempting to pass a bill banning the use of the app on U.S. soil, with arguments pointing to TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, having ties to the Chinese government. After several failed attempts to ban the app from the U.S., the new Restrict Act, ostensibly targeting cybersecurity threats, is being pushed by the same people that previously advocated banning TikTok. It has far-reaching consequences for social media and harsh punishments for violators. The Restrict Act allows blanket bans on software and hardware. The new legislature proposes to give the U.S. Secretary authority to execute bans or exclusions on any information and communications technology products and services holdings that pose undue or unacceptable risk, with the unacceptable risks and exclusions to be determined and recommended by the Secretary of Homeland Security, the Secretary of Defense, or the Director of National Intelligence. The bill allows any attempts to circumvent the exclusions or bans, using a VPN or proxy, to be punished with a fine of up to $1 million or up to 20 years in prison. According to the bill, the processes and actions taken are exempt from the Freedom of Information Act, which generally allows citizens to request and audit certain public dealings. Exemption from FOIA concerns many people, including notable repair advocate Louis Rossmann. This exemption could give the government alarming control over online interactions with little transparency. The Restrict Act could, theoretically, be applied to everything from citizens, corporations, and organizations to labor unions. To be fair, the bill does clarify that anyone prosecuted under the Act must be engaging in activities and using technology to harm the U.S. government, according to a conversation between Newsweek and Senator Mark Warner.
My description box. Oh, that's just not much to read, or one more paragraph. Anyway, hey, it's my phone. I do what I want with it. That's what I say. Let's go to the next one. It's from Giant Freaking Robot. So this was interesting. Researchers and military set to prove alien mothership is out there sending probes.
Truth is out there, and a Harvard UFO expert and a Pentagon official are teaming up to find it. It sounds like the start of an Independence Day ripoff, but according to Futurism, Professor Avi Loeb and All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, ARO, Director Sean Kirkpatrick have authored a paper purporting that an alien mothership may be sending probes through the solar system. The alien mothership theory posits that a large, artificial craft is lurking in space, sending probes dubbed dandelion seeds out to explore planets, including Earth. The claim presents a possible explanation for a set of unexplained phenomena, Oumuamua and IM2. Oumuamua was an oddity that sailed past Earth in 2017, and IM2 was a bizarre-looking meteor that hit the planet just 6 months earlier. Loeb and Kirkpatrick put it. Loeb and Kirkpatrick put it this way: the coincidences between some orbital parameters of Oumuamua and IM2 inspires us to consider the possibility that an artificial interstellar object could potentially be a parent craft that releases many small probes during its close passage to Earth, an operational construct not too dissimilar from NASA missions. The paper is not an official Pentagon document, and has yet to be officially printed with peer review authentication. The alien mothership theory, however, is worth paying attention to given the names attached to it. Kirkpatrick is the director of ARO, an organization with the U.S. Office of the Secretary of Defense. ARO was founded in July of 2022 under President Biden's administration to succeed the Office of Naval Intelligence's Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force. AARO's essential function: investigate UFOs.
Okay, that's all for that one. Let's go to the next one. This is from USA Today. Amazon warns shoppers about frequently returned items on its platform.
Amazon is warning consumers about frequently returned items sold on their platform. The e-commerce giant in recent months introduced the badge with the words "frequently returned item," which urges shoppers to check the product details and customer reviews on items that have significantly higher return rates in their product category. At Amazon, we're always innovating on behalf of customers to improve the shopping experience, Amazon spokesperson Betsy Harden said in an email Wednesday. We're currently showing return rate information on some product detail pages to help our customers make more informed purchase decisions. Start the day smarter. Get all the news you need in your inbox each morning. Amazon evaluates return rates separately and applies the same methodology to determine which products to flag, whether they're sold by the retailer or third-party vendors, according to the company. The badge is already visible on some items, but you need to be logged into your Amazon account to see it. Missing package? How to return Amazon items. Amazon's current return policy allows customers to return items within 30 days of delivery, usually for free, unless the item is considered unreturnable. Items deemed non-returnable include certain electronic devices more than 30 days after delivery, customized products, and grocery items. To return an Amazon order, go to your orders, choose the order, and select Return or Replace items. Then, click on the item you want to ship back, choose how to process your return, and how you want to get your refund. Amazon will provide you the return label. This article originally appeared on USA Today. Amazon warns shoppers about frequently returned items on its platform.
And let's go to my last one now. Jing's China will never achieve world currency domination.
In troubled and uncertain times, people like to explain and assert things that often lack accuracy and understanding. The 2008 financial crisis, QE, the pandemic, and climate change have provided many examples. Now, with a few banks in crisis, rather than a banking crisis as such, and the crypto world in flux, the end of the US dollar's supremacy is getting yet another airing. But nothing could be further from the truth. This week, the American commentator, Fareed Zakaria, posted a 5-minute video on social media in which he warned that the US dollar's reign at the top of the global monetary system was coming to an end and that this would lead to chaos for the United States. It's not an unpopular view on social media, but is heavily misinformed. The current argument is based around the surge in the use of the Chinese yuan to denominate Sino-Russian trade. According to Russia Today, for example, the yuan's share in Russia's import and export settlements during 2022 jumped to 23 PC and 16 PC respectively, up from 4 PC and 0.5 PC. This follows other initiatives to promote the yuan. China has created emergency yuan swap lines with some other central banks in a bid to encourage more local currency trade financing that bypasses the US dollar. It is developing its own international payments infrastructure to sanction-proof itself in case punitive measures are imposed, for example over its threats to Taiwan. It has also encouraged Saudi Arabia and other oil states to adopt a petro-yuan by pricing oil in the Chinese currency. These talking points, though, are easily dismissed as naive or the result of misunderstanding. Use of the yuan to settle more bills does not advance the cause of the yuan as a reserve currency, let alone an alternative to the US dollar. The greater use of the yuan in trade with Russia reflects the latter's inability to access US dollars freely, and its status as a vassal state of China. Recipients of yuan are still left with the issue of either keeping their yuan, which is barely used globally, or selling them for readily tradable currencies with open and transparent financial architectures. The idea of a petro-yuan has also never got off the ground. When Xi Jinping went to Saudi Arabia in late 2022, it was reported that all he asked for was for Riyadh to accept payment for oil in yuan.
That's all I got for you for today. I hope I gave you some information. And don't forget to like, subscribe, at least come back once in a while. And I thank you for watching.